Live from Owings Mills, Maryland, it's the Max Fortune Show. Whether it's becoming a success by achieving your dreams and goals, growing your business, or unlocking your full potential, the Max Fortune Show specializes in helping you maximize your fortune. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the Max Fortune Show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Max Fortune Show. I'm your host, Max Fortune. For those of you who are not familiar, I'm an author, motivational speaker, publisher, and a book coach. And by my side, as usual, is my co-host, Joe Farina. And so, Joe is the director of sales and marketing here at Fortune Publishing Group. He's also owned multiple businesses, both online and offline, including retail stores in the sports and supplemental industries. So, but you're also a highly skilled entrepreneur.
I am.
A personal development specialist, which is one of the reasons why we brought him over here, who's had his work published both in book and magazine form. So again, Joe, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Max.
Yes.
And as always out there, ladies and gentlemen, 3 days, 2 fun-filled nights. We want you to interact with us over here at the Max Fortune Show. So you can see us here on the social media feed. Feel free to drop a line, drop a question. You can also give us a call. And what's that number, Max, that we have for that?
844-220-2266.
That's correct.
Again,
we have it here.
844-220-2266. So again, if you want to call in, talk to us, please feel free to do that.
Absolutely. And the best caller is going to win that vacation, compliments of the Max Fortune Show. And before we get started, Max, can I share with them the exciting news about the upcoming workshop?
You know what?
Is that okay?
Definitely.
Can I do that now?
Sure. Why don't you?
All right. So we've got an upcoming book writers workshop that Max and I are really excited about. And it's for individuals who would like to write a book and get it published. And that is going to be starting September 5th from 7 p.m. to 8:30.
Correct.
And I have the address right here. It is 10220 South Dolefield Road in Owings Mills at the Rebate Realty office location. And you can sign up to attend by visiting the Max Fortune, Fortune Publishing Group.
Correct.
Man, I am tongue twisted.
That's all right.
FortunePublishingGroup.com/workshop.
There you go.
Does that work?
That works.
Okay,
Works.
that works.
So again, as usual, the show is recorded live every week. So we have calls coming in from viewers. Again, we definitely love for you to call. We always welcome comments from viewers who are watching the show. And again, you can go to Ask Max Fortune on Facebook if you want to watch the show live, or for your comments. Again, even though this feed gets shared on lots of different sites or different places, we actually only see the comments in real time on the Ask Max Fortune. So if you're on Facebook at Ask Max Fortune, we'll be able to see your comments pop up. And we try to respond to every comment that we get as it's coming up. And again, if you haven't liked or followed our page yet, please do that. Again, by going to Facebook or Ask Max Fortune on Facebook. And right now, if you can, share this feed with anyone that you may know. We're going to be talking about a really interesting topic in a moment. We actually, we're going to be we're doing our Get Rich in Your Niche segment, and where we focus on helping small business owners learn different things that they can use to market their business. And today we're going to be talking about the importance of branding. And Joe and I had the benefit, and I started off this, we had the benefit of going to a really amazing workshop seminar with a gentleman, a really phenomenal branding expert, I would say, a guy who really knows about branding and how to brand yourself, and a guy named JT Fox. So we went to this event in DC last week. Got a lot of great information. A lot of it we're going to be sharing with you today, but a lot of it is also stuff that that we have. I mean, sometimes you go to, and I want to say this. Some people, we're both people who like to attend seminars and events, and I think hopefully if you're out there, if you're a small business owner, or if you're a business owner, period, it's always good to sharpen your knives per se, or stay sharp by going to different seminars and workshops. And honestly, even attending, if that's why we're doing this workshop we're doing next week, next Tuesday. Workshops are great to learn and pick up some really good information and things that just can help you implement. Sometimes if you can just walk out of there with 2 different things that you can implement, a lot of times that's enough to change your business. So I know I walked out of there with a lots of notes just because I'm just one of those guys that just really like to take in as much as I can take in from a seminar or workshop. And you just, I know this from the past, sometimes you one or two things of implementing in your business for making a tremendous change. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Jim Rohn once said it, I think he said it best. He said, welcome all opportunities. You never know which one will turn the light on. And I absolutely love going to seminars. I love going to workshops and conferences because it really, for me personally, it dumps more information into my mental factory and it gets me out of my own head. And actually, I always go to an event or a workshop with an idea in mind to make at least one new friend and learn one new idea. And if I can do that, it's a huge success.
I agree.
So.
You know, and so as we're going to talk about branding, it usually is branding is kind of your business identity, how people identify with you and your business, or how people, I mean, companies big spend millions of dollars for branding. A lot of times you're seeing people use celebrities to brand their businesses, and so I mean, branding is really kind of what people think of when they think of your business or the marketing you put out there. And so we're going to be kind of going over a lot of different things that you can do to brand your particular business or to kind of differentiate yourself out there in the marketplace. So, let me start.
Yeah, I mean, branding, when you think about it, I think in today's day and age, everybody has a brand.
Yeah.
They do, whether or not they take advantage of that or promote that. Everybody has an identity, and I think that when somebody thinks of you out there, that usually the first thought that comes to their head is generally that brand. And so when you actually direct your brand and you take control of it, so you literally are getting your message out there, it's that process of creating that unique name and unique image. And if you take control of that, there's a lot of power in that. And especially in today's day and age, there's a movement now, Max, and you see it not just as far as branding a company, but branding the individual.
Yes.
We're in the Me Inc. era, right? Especially if you're online, you're branding yourself, what you choose to project, how you choose to convey yourself, the language that you use gets attached to your brand. So it's very powerful.
You know, and social, what I was going to say is branding is important. It's the things that you do, and I think sometimes people think it's high level when you think about branding, and it's not, may not affect or be for the person who's just getting their business started. You know, branding is kind of one of those, it's almost like a lot of times the first message people see or should see, and it's something you should give some idea of what image do you want people to think of when they think of you, your business, what you do, your brand. I mean, so a lot of it is, I mean, branding is just a very, very important aspect of your business, and it needs to be. And it can start with your social media, your business card, really, your logo. All of that stuff is part of the branding process. And the things that you want to spend some time putting together, that your website, all of that stuff should really be cohesive, and it should not be different, something different on your business card, something different on your website. So branding is kind of should be that universal theme that flows through all of your marketing, that gives people an idea and a concept of what you are, what you stand for, but it creates that consistency piece, so that people are consistently seeing you show up in a consistent place or a consistent way. So that's where branding is really, really important aspect of your business.
Yeah, and the better you brand, obviously, the more on the top of someone's mind you'll be when they think of a certain thing. Like, I know for me, if I think of personal development, the gold standard is and motivational speaking would be Tony Robbins. Yeah. He goes right to the top. He's branded himself as that. And you see companies out there, you and I talked about this before, laundry detergent. Every time I think of that, the branding that comes to mind, the amount of money that's been spent on branding for Tide.
Yeah.
That company, and they branded themselves in that regard, and that color orange, right?
Yeah.
So when you see that, it's you think about it, and it pops in your mind. That's.
You know what that reminds me of another, and I always thought this was a clever brand, was, I believe it was Coast. They had the soap that was an eye opener or whatever, but they kind of branded them, I mean, they kind of put that brand in a sense that it made you think that the soap is what wakes you up when you use that soap. But honestly, it's taking a shower itself. I mean, I don't care what
Sure.
soap you're using, but they kind of use their soap as a brand to kind of, you know, make you understand, hey, it's that that woke you up. It's the soap you're using, not taking a shower or that kind of thing. So, you know, branding your brand can help you take credit for something out there, or just whatever the outcome of whatever your product or service is. I mean, your brand should tell people that, hey, this is how you accomplish that with this product. So, so this is one thing that just kind of came to mind when we were talking about that one instance. So,
and it really should be and proceed and underline any of your marketing efforts. You touched on that. So,
and the important part, it should be strategic. It shouldn't be just something that's thrown together. There should be a lot of thought put into what your brand is, what your brand is going to be, how you want people to remember you, how you want people to, as you mentioned, be top of mind. How do you want to be thought of or seen out there in the marketplace? So the branding is very important. So you definitely want to make sure you have a good branding strategy, and that you take some time to sit there and focus on what that's supposed to be, what they can be, how do you reach the target market with your brand. And when you kind of do this in a great way, your branding strategy gives you a major edge out there in the marketplace. So it's super critical, not something you just want to go lightly. And you know, if I can, what I do want to do is I kind of want to go over one thing that was very interesting. I thought at this workshop we were at over the weekend was the branding with celebrity, the celebrity branding. I think that was
brand
a big
association.
thing. Yeah, that brand association was really important. I saw that sometimes when people see you associated with other people who they know are successful, again, even your brand. So think about your business as you partner with even if it's not celebrities, because maybe you're just getting your business going, maybe you're just starting out. You may not be able to get celebrity endorsements. You may not know someone directly who's a celebrity who can promote or who would promote your product. But a lot of times you may have contracts with companies, Coca-Cola, Toyota, big brands like that, and you can actually still use branding association in those ways by marketing and associating your business with some of the companies that you do business with. So that branding association piece is very, very important, and it just really helps with the credibility of your own particular business when you can show that your business is associated with other things that people already associate with success. So just a nugget to think about, something to focus on, or when you are marketing your business. So so that's what I wanted to mention.
Well, that's fantastic. And branding really does, make no mistake about it, it really does help encourage people to buy your product or service. It just does. It really does. It helps separate you from everyone else. And if you brand yourself as a expert or an authority in a respective area, it really does allow people to really keep you at the top of their mind and gravitate toward whatever you're selling. And the more you see it, the more you invest in your brand and the more valuable it becomes, obviously the more you can charge. There's a lot of celebrities out there, a perfect example of the value of their brand. The brands are worth millions and millions and millions of dollars. There's a lot of time and effort spent managing those brands. And that is their business. Their business is their brand. And boy, if you ever had a question as to the power of branding, there you go right there. You see it, and they protect their brand.
Even when it comes down to even just what they autograph and how they sign, or what, not every celebrity is going to sign anything and everything. So they're really protective of their brand in that way. And I mean, you don't have to be that hyper protective as a business owner, but you definitely should be constantly thinking about your brand. And your brand definitely directly supports whatever sales or marketing activities that you have in play. And it should be supportive of that. So again, when I mentioned earlier about making sure that your marketing, or when you're thinking about marketing, you're thinking about branding, that it doesn't happen in a vacuum, that you don't have something happening over here, something different colors over here, even just as far as your logo. Every time your logo appears, it should look the same every time. because that's part of your branding. Your logo, your business card, the colors that you use, all of that is part of the branding, and it's kind of the things that allow people to kind of see either whatever your logo is and know and think about you right away, or even see similar colors or colors that you use in your logo and think about your business. These are the things that branding does, and these are the things that you kind of want to have your branding do for you to help you grow your business. So
yeah. And one thing to keep in mind is your brand as you get out there and build that should really match your values and really the core of who you are and what your business represents. And sometimes we're just talking about brand association in a positive way. Mm-hmm. You also want to be mindful of brand association in a negative way. Perception becomes reality. And so especially online, if you're online and you have a business and you project yourself in a divisive manner, you're branding yourself as, you see it with a lot of maybe different hot button topics out there nowadays that people post online and they become known for that. Well, that becomes your brand at that point. You've now taken away from maybe your business and sometimes who we associate with in a negative way. Yeah. Certain organizations or certain people that we're just affiliated with, you want to monitor that just like a celebrity would protect their brand. Yeah. You want to do that as well. So there's the positive side of that in a celebrity fashion, and there's a negative side of associating yourself with things that do not match your brand and do not match your core values and do not speak to what you want to project, because then you may be branded in that regard.
Yeah, so I mean, the whole thing is that whole association piece is really, really critical. And again, so I mean, there is a power in even leveraging that, and there's different ways, and kind of the focus I want to focus on with this is really more of the positive side and of how you associate your brand with other people who are successful and how you can utilize that. Again, it's really the branding part really should be expressing what your organization's product or service, their brand should come together to help you relay that message in some way, shape or form. So that, like I said, it's really, really important and critical. So
yeah, it's the more I think about it, it really becomes one of the major things that a business needs to do nowadays, now more than ever, is to really invest in branding in order to separate themselves, because there's so many things vying for our attention, and branding really does help separate us from the crowd, and it really does help us communicate our values and our characteristics and what our business represents, professionally as well as personally.
I agree. And so to me, with you have a business, and you're growing that business and you're doing business with other businesses, the more people see your business associated with other businesses that are already out there being successful, that's what you want to do. Those are the type of images that you want to post on your social media. Those are the images you want to post in your newsletter if you're doing a newsletter every week, which again, these are things that you can do. And what we really try to focus on when we do these Get Rich in Your Niche shows is really things that really any business owner can do. But if you are a small business or somebody's just getting started, you're a small business and you want to do some different things or know some different things you can do to market and grow your brand, that's what we really try to focus on with our Get Rich in Your Niche segments. And so these are some of the things with branding and the importance of branding and associating yourself. Not only kind of taking that photo out, but knowing how to use it. And again, I posted a picture of us taken from that event, and anybody who's been on my Facebook page showed how we kind of how what was done was really the pictures that, I mean, some people, to be honest with you, may not even know JT Foxx. Everybody out there may not, he's not a household name, but he's popular in certain circles. But again, the people that he associates himself with, you may not know him per se, but they know those celebrities that are associated with. So it's really important for you to leverage those kind of photo ops or those opportunities. So it's not just about taking the photo, but leveraging that, making it part of your social media brand, make part of your message brand. And so again, it's can really be super impactful in your business, because the average person is not going to really dig deep into that. They're going to see you with somebody that they recognize already as who's successful, and they're going to associate you with success because of the person that you're with. So that's how you kind of utilize some of this branding to really help you grow your business. And even sending out to clients, sending out a picture of you with some type of celebrity, or your new product, or maybe your new contract you just received from a company that most people would know, and you actually put that information out there on your social media posts, in your newsletter, email blast to your clients. So there's lots of different ways that you can kind of leverage that kind of information. So again, and that's how you kind of start even building your brand, and that's really that branding association piece that you really want to do and want to focus on when it comes to growing your business. So
yeah, branding is really about helping your prospects see you as the sole provider of a solution, the go-to person, that when that topic comes up, your brand is the first thing that pops in their head. That is their association with you. It takes time to build, but every business can do it. Every individual can do it. And sometimes your customers and the people you interact with, here's a little tip, if you're not sure what your brand really, you're like, oh, I don't really know. Your customers ultimately end up telling you. If you're a new person and you're starting a business out, sometimes what you're associated with tells you what kind of brand you're building. And I know for me early on, I got associated with motivational speaker and personal development. So over a period of time, what is it? Joe Farina, motivational speaker, and the powerhouse in personal development. The personal development specialist. That became that brand that came out of that. And being known as a guy who really provides service in that area.
Very good. And you know what, I want to shout out one of our comments, Arthur Miller, who's actually an author who's coming through for the publisher, by the way. Author, you need to make sure you get that book finished. We're ready for it. Did an amazing thing. He's saying good stuff for the show, so hopefully you're looking at the show, getting some good things from it. He's in Chicago over there. So definitely thanks for checking us out in Chicagoland.
Chicago, branded as the Windy City.
There you go. See?
So when you think of Chicago, the branding there is, I always think of Windy City and Al Capone. Right. That's the brand association that I have with that.
Right. So I'm glad you love the show. He's saying comment, love the show. So, you know, Arthur or anybody out there, anyone else who's out watching the show, I know several people watching the show, we're starting to see a lot of thumbs up and everything coming across the screen.
All right.
If you have any comments, again, you can ask questions by just kind of commenting online if you don't want to call us, or you can call us. We have a great phone number.
We do, 844-220-2266. Yes. And I like to throw this in here real quick. Okay. Again, one lucky caller or viewer who interacts with us with great questions, great content, great comment, great encouragement.
There you go. Anyway.
3 days, 2 fun-filled nights to multiple destinations, but you get to pick a vacation of your choice, compliments of the Max Fortune Show. We love having you a part of our show, and it is our desire to serve you, so we thank you. Continue on with that branding, my man.
All right. So, again, branding, you know, it's vital to a successful business. It just is. You know, even if you have a nonprofit business, that brand association is just super important. And you want to definitely focus on protecting your brand and understanding how important that is to growing your business. And there are so many different ways to leverage your brand. And whether it's even, like I said, I'm thinking about even how book covers and things like that even become a brand for people. Like I'm thinking like Kiyosaki and guys like that.
The colors,
you know,
everything.
Right.
When you see that, and I go to the bookstore, he's done a fantastic job.
Branding that purple,
that purple and that black and that color scheme there. So when you see that, you know what it is, and that's the power. You're right. The power of just even the color you select. You see it in different TV shows. If the company they're using their product is not paying for advertisement, they'll end up blotting it out. But you know just by seeing that exactly what that product is. You're like, oh, so-and-so.
Such and such.
Yeah, just because they've done such a fantastic job of making that such a core part of the vision of their company.
I agree.
So, and branding does that. Branding really helps you, once you're rooted in what kind of brand you want to project, then that gives you a roadmap for the future. It
And
really does.
What I want to jump in and say is that your branding should be consistent. It should really be consistent along all lines. If you're changing, I kind of mentioned this a little earlier, but I want to really kind of delve in because this is super important. I mean, some people will have their business and the logo will be different every time you see it. It'll be a different color,
Yeah.
whatever. And that's not really good branding. I mean, it's not a good use of branding. Your business, I mean, you want it to be as consistent. Every now and again, you may have to change it based on what kind of market materials you're using. But anytime you can keep your image the same, it helps. Consistency is really, really important.
Well,
when it comes to
that's
branding.
your signature.
Right.
That's your mark. And if you think about branding, if you think about a brand that you're going to brand cattle with and leave your mark, it's leaving almost a permanent mark. Think about that with your branding. You're leaving a permanent mark. You're leaving your logo. You're leaving your vision, your characteristics, your services. You're leaving that with people. And the more powerful your brand, the more permanent it is stuck in their subconscious. It becomes a part of their daily language. And here's one. I'll give out free marketing, but this happens all the time for me and Holly. Every single frozen yogurt place that we go to, here's free advertising, called Froyo. Does not matter. The cotton swab
Right.
ends up being Q-tip.
Right.
And that's a brand.
Right. Yeah.
Tissue is usually, can you
Kleenex.
pass the Kleenex,
Right.
even if
Right.
it's not?
Right.
That's the power
Put Xerox in
of
something. You say Xerox.
Yeah, you Xerox it,
And
right.
It's just making
right.
a copy.
Yeah.
You know what, I want to say author.
And when you think of self-publishing, you think of Fortune Publishing
There you
Group.
go. It's just automatic.
It's just, it's like bada boom, bada bing.
Right, right.
Hey, forget about it.
Yeah, don't forget about it. I want to just author has another comment. Says your
Like
brand is your
bada boom,
stand,
bada bing.
as well
Hey.
as your mission statement. And I agree with you there, author. It's definitely
Yes.
part of your mission statement.
Yep.
It is definitely your brand is your stamp and your mission statement. It's what you send out to the world that you're about, that your business is about, what it will accomplish and achieve. And so, yeah, it's really, really important. Something you definitely should take serious. And again, put some time into it. Put some thought into it. Look at other competitors who have done this well. And there's nothing wrong with, say, copying is a form of flattery. I'm messing up. We can save me on that. But anyway, the point is, even with
Imitation is the best form of flattery?
That's what I was looking.
All right.
There we go. See, that's what.
Well, you had it. You had it.
I had a
that
little
was
bit.
so mad. I
Yeah,
had to
so-
read. I had to reverse engineer that one and go.
Yeah. What do you say? But it's really it's real important to do that, to just really kind of really associate how you associate your brand, how you tie everything in. Very, very important, very critical.
Yep.
So yeah, this just sit here really all day talking about that. Talking about that,
Yeah, I think we all do branding. You had touched on it earlier. We all do branding. Some of us take control of that brand, and some of us just kind of just, and then other people assign a brand to us. Right? They decide for us what they want us to be projecting as. And so when you actively take control of your brand, down to the color scheme, down to the message, it allows you to really just confirm your credibility, that you are in it. And when somebody takes time to really position themselves in a market space, there is a perceived that you're not going anywhere, that your business is there to stay because you've invested in that brand. People are more likely to do business with you long term because they feel like you're not going anywhere. Somebody who's has not taken that time to drive those roots deep, to really position themselves at the forefront in their industry, sometimes you get perceived as a fly-by-night, you know, one week you're doing this, next week you're doing that. You do not want to be position yourself as flighty in business. And so being able to establish credibility is so important. And I will say this, and to interject, I have one more thing.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Markel, I'm going to give credit to, fantastic. Heard him at a seminar. I use it all the time. When it comes to branding, you think about this. How you do anything
That's how you do everything.
is how you do everything.
Yeah. Like before.
Yeah, I use that a lot.
I know you did.
Talk about pulling a nugget out.
You know what? One of the objectives that a good brand will help you achieve is should achieve, is help you clearly delivering whatever your message is. So your brand, if it's helping you clearly deliver your message, that's an effective use of branding.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to make sure, again, to not sound like a broken record, you want to make sure that you are definitely branding your message and your brand are cohesive, that they work together, they don't work against each other, they're not working against what information you want to put out there. So I think it's important from that standpoint.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Helps people buy. At the simplest of all of this, the why of it all, the backbone of everything, the benefit of doing this is really to be of service to others. It helps people decide. It helps people make a decision to work with you, to buy from you, to partner with you. And that is so powerful. So there's a big reason why we do it. And it really does help motivate the person to buy.
And you know what? A lot of times people understand, I mean, what influences, as you're talking about motivating people to buy, that what influences almost every buying decision is achieving pleasure or avoiding pain. And so your brand emotionally connects your target prospects with your product and or service. And if your branding is really showing people how they can achieve some type of pleasure by using your product or service, or avoid some type of pain by not having your product or service, or by having your product, it helps them avoid something that they want to avoid. That's good branding. And so those are the things that you want to think about when it comes to branding. Understand that people do make a lot of decisions are made emotionally, and those emotions are really almost every buying decision we all make is to either achieve pleasure or avoid pain. And so if you are thinking about that when it comes to branding, what is your message? Are you showing people how your brand or your service, your product will help them achieve something that they want to achieve or avoid something that they want to avoid? That's kind of how you want to start putting together your brand and start focusing that brand, you know?
Yeah. And a big don't in branding is do not make the mistake of thinking that branding is solely a logo. Branding is so much more, not just the logo, but what's behind that logo. So it's like your left and your right, the message behind it and the logo in front of it. And so I guess a good analogy would be like a snowplow. Your logo is the plow blade. It's what goes in front. But what drives that, the engine behind it, is that the truck, and that is your brand, your message, everything that when somebody sees that logo, automatically the flood of emotions, like Max was saying, the pleasure that they think about when they think about your logo, they see it and automatically they attach it to some pleasure, or they attach it to a solution to avoid pain, or unless you've got a really bad brand and people see the logo and they go, oh, I'm so depressed now.
That's pain.
Yeah,
pain.
but it's in a negative way. There's not like that whole, oh, that's going to help me solve my pain.
Right.
That caused me pain. And here's a perfect example of that. If you've ever had a bad experience with a company, it's hard to overcome that bad experience, because once you get branded as just being a horrible in customer service, just horrible in your product quality, it's hard to overcome that. It really is. You just become associated with that. You look at some of these powerhouse brands that spent years developing their brand. they almost have to spend so much just to reinvent themselves.
Right.
And you see with some of these mega brands out there that they own, they're in for a penny, in for a pound.
Yeah, and again, your brand definitely should be creating loyalty with the people who use your brand. And again, it's just that cohesive part of it. So just, I mean, branding, I mean, I don't think I could talk about it enough, but I think it's
Right.
something that sometimes people don't really think about when they're getting out there and thinking about the importance of that. And what I do want to talk about also is
Well,
really.
there's that big, let me just say,
Uh-huh.
I think there's a lot of misconception between marketing and branding. People think that marketing is branding.
Yeah.
And there is definitely a big difference there. And sometimes people feel like they're building their brand, they're advertising, they're doing their
Right, right.
advertisements and stuff. And that is just one aspect. That's not branding. That is marketing and advertising, which
Yeah.
can help reinforce your brand, absolutely, but that's not
You know
branding.
what? That is probably on the list of all the things we're talking about today. Is probably one of the most important things to talk about. Is being able to differentiate between marketing and branding. And branding is really that message. It's not always asking for a sale. It's really kind of the branding is that message that puts out there again that avoiding pain, achieving pleasure type situation, but not always resulting in a sale. And marketing is always something that we put out there that's got to ask, a call to action, calling you to do something, to buy something, buy some type of product or service. That's marketing. But the branding is really just kind of the message out there, almost more service oriented, not resulting in an actual sale at that point in time. But again, you kind of being there, your business kind of being in a space to help people achieve some type of pleasure that they want to achieve or avoid some type of pain, and people associate your product with that. That's good branding if you're branding yourself in that way. And a lot of good branding is not always asking for the sale. I mean, that's a big part of it. I mean, if you're constantly everything you're putting out there to really to market your business, if it's all asking for a sale, then it's not marketing. And I think people get this wrong mostly even with social media, with Facebook and different mediums like that. It's a lot harder to sell a product on mediums like that than but they're good branding sites. They're good sites for you to brand yourself and to talk about this, especially this brand association, to do things like that help show you being associated to other people and to successful brands or to successful people who are really even just achieving success. So your social media stuff definitely, that's really going to fall in the branding category, not as much as the marketing. And I think people get that wrong a lot. I think people want to market, and you can do some marketing. Don't get me wrong. You can do some marketing on these social media sites, but I think they're better served in branding and kind of helping you get your message out there versus actually going out there and marketing or selling or closing deals with it.
Value.
Yeah. That's your big, your big
because
rah-rah.
It is as part of the thing I'm branding. That brand of being associated with a guy who really believes that providing value, leaving people better than you found them, is so important. At the core of everything that I believe, that is one of the top things that I really believe is providing value. And when you can really reach out to someone and help provide a solution to a problem or a goal they're looking to achieve and really provide value that they believe is valuable, then you've got something. Too often in business, we talked about this, we forget how we identify our brand, and we spend our time marketing, telling people how great we are. Well, branding really is when people think of you, when they hear that logo, they hear that name, they know how great you are, and they think how great you are. It's really that feeling people get. What you've really left with them is really the defining portion of your brand. That's what really anchors with people.
And I agree with you 150%. And one of the things that's important when you are growing your brand and putting out there is to not make up qualities that your product doesn't help people achieve. I mean, you don't want to embellish or over embellish your brand when it comes to your selling points. You definitely want to make sure your claims that your business or whatever your product or service does are realistic and are quantifiable in some way that people can kind of see some type of results with what you're branding. So, I mean, if your product says it makes millionaires in 90 days, I mean, you got to have some kind of quantifiable results for that. And you don't have to have, I mean, your business could still be great if it doesn't do that, but you have to just, whatever you're stating your business does, you need to definitely be able to support that with some type of results in some kind of way. And so that, you know, you don't want that negative branding that Joe was talking about earlier because people are now saying negative things that your brand promised to do this or you promised to do that, and your brand didn't come through. And I'll tell you that 10 times, I think everybody knows this, bad news travels 10 times faster than good news. So honestly, you could have really 100 great touches with a client and one bad one. That one bad one will wipe out, you know, 90% of the good reviews out there. So you want to always be mindful of that when it comes to branding and putting yourself out there. So
Yeah.
don't embellish.
Don't embellish. And just, it's okay to look at specifics about your product or service and let people know what makes you different. I think that's so important. Brands, okay to look at that and then build that and take time. Look at what you're doing. Every single business out there does have a unique brand. Every single person, every single business, because they're all different. Even if they're in a very common industry.
Right.
It doesn't matter whether it's real estate or anything else, food service industry, restaurants, everybody can really get a message out about what makes them specifically unique.
And that's where you should start when it comes to branding. Right? If you're not sure where to start, that's where you start. You focus on what makes your product or service different from the next guy who does something similar. And that's how you start beginning to kind of get an idea or develop what your brand should be. And a lot of times sometimes it's kind of filling in what somebody else does wrong, and your product came along, because so many of us get into business because there's a void that we found, that we see. And so, I mean, I think even with publishing, there's I think so many businesses are birthed out of solving a problem. And so you want to make sure that you definitely focus your brand based on, you know, your uniqueness, that unique selling proposition, as they call it. Focus, I mean, as long as it is helping people achieve that specific goal. So you definitely want to focus on that and make sure that whatever selling points you have are genuine and they're real. Whatever you are selling people, don't sell something that's not genuine.
Under
real.
Promise, over deliver.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. I mean, that's the name of the game. It's always better it's always better for somebody to walk away getting more than what they expected than less than what they expected. And that's definitely kind of what you want people to leave away with. You want them to, I mean, that kind of piggybacks on that whole value. Value. I forgot the third value.
Yeah, it's 3 values. Don't shortchange the value. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everybody out there as always, and I just want to remind everybody 844-220-2266. Call into the show. Also, we got a lot of people that are watching online. Feel free to drop a line, and on social media, you can also email maxfortuneshow@gmail.com to our lovely producer of the show, and she'll be able to get back to you promptly and answer any questions you have. We'd love to hear from you as always. 3 exciting days, 2 fun-filled nights, to a vacation of your choice, to 1 lucky viewer who interacts, caller who calls in, compliments of the Max Fortune Show. And
so don't be afraid to call in, ask questions. Tell us about how you're using your brand, how you come up with your brand, how you came up with your brand. Again, we always love to hear from guests who people are calling in. Our lines are feeling lonely. You know, be nice to call in and be part of the show. So, you know what? I also do want to remind people that our first meetup, we talked about this at the top of the show.
The workshop?
The workshop.
You're going to the
Going
workshop?
to the workshop. So
will you be there?
I will be there. I will be there. Hopefully you'll be
that's-
there. Producer will be there. You'll be able to meet the whole crew and so much more. But more importantly, you're going to get Joe's favorite words.
Value, value, and value.
See? I don't know who's going to say that. So that's pretty much what you're going to get at this workshop we're going to do. Again, it's going to be September 5th in Owings Mills, Maryland at 10220 South Duffield Road. So again, the most important thing that we really do need you to do in order for to sign up, this workshop is absolutely free. So we're kind of taking time out to provide value. And the way you just sign up is going to fortunepublishinggroup.com/workshop. Again, real easy, fortunepublishinggroup.com/workshop. It is 7 p.m. on Tuesday, September 5th. So it's right after Labor Day. There's no excuse. You're going to be off. You'll be refreshed from a long weekend because we're all going into a long weekend right now. Get some information that can help you grow your business. I mean, one of the big things that we talk about at Fortune Publishing Group, how you can use your book or a book to brand your business. And we're talking about branding today, and so I'm kind of tying that into this whole branding thing. So if you have a business out there, using a book to brand yourself as an expert in your field is probably one of the most effective ways to gain credibility with your audience, a great lead behind, a great way to leave value, a great way to leave information for people. So that's one of the things we're going to be focusing on at this workshop is, again, being able to provide information to people that's valuable, provide information to you that can help you get your book done. I mean, we're going to show you how to get your book done in 90 days, and if that's not valuable information, I really don't know what is. So many people just take so much time to put that information together, and what we do is we don't take it from one level. We kind of focus you on helping you put together your brand, and really when it comes to a book cover, I just said it. When it comes to a book, your brand, your book cover is your brand for that particular message. And so so we're going to actually show you even how to do that, how important it is to design a cover that will help you grow your brand, that will help you explain what your book is about and what your business is about. And I can't tell you how impactful, how powerful it is having a book about whatever your business is. And it's not very difficult, and it's not tough to do. It could definitely be done, and we show you exactly how to do that. So make sure you come out to this workshop, September 5th. Again, it's next Tuesday, and again, it's absolutely free. All you have to do is log on to fortunepublishinggroup.com/workshop, sign in. Also, if you wanted to, I think there's also a link on there. If people wanted to just book an appointment and talk to one of us right away outside of the workshop or before getting to the workshop, there are ways for you to get in contact with us and talk about your brand and building your brand and how a book can help you do that. So again, we welcome all of those people who are going to come out this week, and it's something we're planning to do on a continual basis because we just feel like the information needs to go. So when we talk about this for the, we probably can we're probably at the end of the show. Maybe we could talk about that. Maybe.
What would you like me to talk about? I'd like to share. Can I share with you something that when I was working with a client one time, we got to talking about figuring out their brand, and one of the ways that I helped them kind of define what they were doing was to pick a song, what their theme song was, right?
Yeah.
What resonated with them, what they felt best represented the business. And then pick if you see a boxer, usually fighters, they'll have, Jimmy the Bull Graziano, Iron Mike Tyson.
Right.
Superheroes, comic book characters will have special powers and different things. So when I was working with this client, we got to talking about this stuff and started writing all that out and finding out what they felt like their business, the theme song of the business was. Was it high energy? Was it what kind of emotion did they want to have? Was it high speed? Was it was it a little bit of rock and roll? You ever had it? I'm a little bit country, I'm a rock and roll, right? So finding out for you, the individual, what your business best feels like as far as a theme song, what would that be? And that kind of gives you an idea of what to build on. What would be what's your tagline? What would be your business's special power, right? What is it? And that becomes part of that brand, and really just pulling it out of what those emotions that you're trying to convey are. Music is a great one. You see that. TV shows spend a lot of time branding their shows through music.
Yes. Yeah.
And you can kind of tell what kind of show it's going to be, whether it's a funny show and an upbeat show versus a drama series, right? So that music. So what kind of music do you have in you for your business or your personal brand? What is it? And that's a great place to start and really dig that out. What is that tagline? What is your secret power? What is those things that best represents your personal brand or your business brand? And what are your defining colors? You know, you were talking about it earlier. A big mistake people make is they don't spend enough time. They flip-flop around all the time. They've got this logo, that logo, this and that. It's willy-nilly. What is your color? What is your that shield you're going to wear? I do love comics and stuff, and Captain America, you know that color scheme a mile away, and that shield, that star on there.
And you know what that brings me to a conversation I was having with the producer of the show, how important colors are. There's color wheels out there. The colors actually evoke emotions in us. They you know, and so if you think about ironically, almost every bank has blue in their logo somewhere, and what blue says is it says safety, it says security, it says, so colors mean something. So you just don't want to pick colors, especially when it comes to your brand. You don't want to just pick random colors. You know what I mean? You don't want to be really, think about when you think about even Valentine's Day, branding with red hearts, and you're thinking of emotion and things like that. So if your business is not, you know, and emotionally, I don't think if you're in the plumbing business, maybe you won't use a red or whatever.
No,
you know,
generally
so it's, you know, so I do a little bit of research on, even, like I said, you can, if you're really putting some thought behind this, even going and searching, even Googling color wheel and learning a little bit about, as you're putting together a logo, what emotions colors evoke.
Yeah.
And as you're putting that together, and again, you know what, I want to say this, that if you've already kind of gone down one road, depending on how far along you've gone down that road, a lot of times you do want to stick to whatever your brand is, but there's nothing wrong with repackaging or rebranding yourself if you're finding that your brand is not successfully resulting in the things that you want to, or it's not really reflecting you specifically. So
you see the difference in branding a lot in franchises.
Yeah.
So if you have let's just say a coffee shop or a donut place that is a franchise versus one that is, I use the phrase, and I don't like the phrase, mom and pop.
Right.
And one's going to stand out way more than the other.
Right.
One has got just those identifiable colors. They're a common theme, a continuity. And a lot of times you can learn take a lot of lessons from franchises and how they standardize everything. Everything is literally choreographed down to the color setup. And then they work that brand and they build that brand. And so you can go into a fast food place, let's just say, or a franchise in New Jersey, and go into one in California, and you see it, you automatically know, what you're going to get when you go in there, and you expect to get that.
You think
You
about
expect to
the
get
Golden
that.
Arches. That's probably one of the biggest brands out
You see
there.
that anywhere.
I mean,
What
right,
is, you
right,
see
automatically
that.
know.
Yeah, and you automatically know, and you're boom.
And that's what you want to think about when it comes.
There's
that's
no
like probably,
confusion as to
Right.
what those golden arches
right,
represent.
no matter where you are in the world, and that's a worldwide brand, and so that's what you kind of want to think about. You want to think about different things, or how that brand how people connect with your brand, very simply and very easily in that way. And so, you definitely don't want to. I don't want people to think this is. It's more scientific than this, but it's important. But you don't want to not start or get into anything because you're worried about
It's well thought.
doing it. Yeah,
It's just something that well thought.
yeah, and you definitely want to put some time and attention into it, but don't get overwhelmed with that. And a lot of times, if you're kind of unsure, having a marketing company help you with that is also a great way. A lot of times, if you are hiring professionals, which we're big proponents of, hiring professionals to help you do the things that you're not great at. Again, they'll help you with those type of things, but it's important enough to put some impact and effort on, in my opinion. It's worth it because, again, you really do want to, as you're starting to put this thing together, as you're starting to really kind of say, okay, I'm going to take this business outside of my house and I really want to do this effectively, those are some of the indicators that, hey, okay, it's time to think about my brand. You know what I mean? So if you're out there and you haven't jumped out yet, or you're already out there, but you're about to take that next big step where you're about to go into a brick and mortar place, or you're about to get this big contract, or you're parting with another company or whatever. I mean, those are times to think about, okay, hey, now is the time. If I have not had my brand identity, now is a great time to really focus on what my brand is as I'm going out there and connecting with other brands or growing my business. So I think that's really critical from that.
I agree. Reminded me of a conversation I was having the other day, again, about establishing a brand and using a book as one of the powerful vehicles for that. And it was using the analogy of a real estate agent. It was really how the topic came up. And you've got all these real estate agents all doing real estate. And if you've got 5 of them, and they all have their business cards, and they all are real estate agents, that's what their brand is, I'm a real estate agent. And then one actually is an author of a real estate book on how to buy and sell houses effectively. The real estate expert. Automatically, it just reinforces in the brand by having that book that you are in fact the expert. Out of everyone in that room, if you are the author, you are the expert. You just are. And that just becomes, that's such a key part of branding. And you just see it. You just do. It automatically brands you as an expert and authority. Right. Powerful. It's a big shift. And it doesn't matter what it is. I mean, if you think about it, if you own let's just say what is that, like a little resale boutique type of place. What is that called? A thrift shop. If you own a thrift shop and you've got a thrift shop and you end up writing a book about shopping in a thrifty way, you've now branded yourself an expert in providing value and services in that community for people that buy. You know, what to look for in thrift shops. Those types of things are just so important.
I agree. And you know what? As we're wrapping up the show, I want to say, Nicole, thanks for tuning in. It's always good when you tune in. We want to also say, author, I think, probably should be our winner of the show. I mean, of this the vacation. What do you think?
Sure.
He's the one that commented most on the show.
Absolutely.
So Author Miller, do your thing.
Hey, you have won yourself. 3 days, 2 fun-filled nights. I always have to look because there's so many great places on here. Too many to read, but you get to pick which one best resonates with you. And you, sir, have won compliments of the Max Fortune Show. We thank you for interacting with us. And
you know what? He's
greatly
got
appreciate it.
a new wife out there. I'm sure she'll appreciate going on a vacation. So, again, definitely love you out there in Chicagoland. Again, what I do want to do is just remind everybody, the Max Fortune Show is recorded live. You can view our show on YouTube for replay. So maybe if you missed a show, you want to catch up on some of the other shows that we've done. We try to really bring a lot of value. All right. To people. So if you want to catch some of our value. There's some great topics we talk about every week, every Thursday. Again, you can go to AskMaxFortune.com and click on the picture of the show, and that will definitely direct you right to our YouTube channel, or go to YouTube and just put in Max Fortune Show. Again, or you can call if you have questions. Our number here is 844-220-2266. If you like the content that we're bringing every week, don't forget to go to Ask Max Fortune on Facebook and Instagram. Follow us and like the pages. Like this page. Share it with other people. We appreciate viewers for tuning in. Thank you. It's been a pleasure. I'm Max Fortune. Joe Farina. We're signing off. Have a good day. See you same time and day next week. All right.